So now that we've got part 1 completed successfully, we should look at part 2, which is all about getting the ball started. So we need to create a ball sprite which is going to continually move around the screen, so that may be another forever loop. And it's going to bounce on the edges, which we're going to draw in as new sprites, the ceiling, which we'll draw as another sprite, and the bat, which we've already done. And if the ball touches the bottom, which we've got to draw in, we're going to lose a life and start again. So a lot of the code is going to go on the ball. So let's start off with drawing a new ball sprite and renaming it. Don't make it ridiculously big. Okay, so we've got to go back and click on the Paint New Sprite icon. And we can use the circle the same way we did with the bat, and draw a reasonable size, and you can fill it with whichever colours you like. Okay, I'm sure you guys will pick better ones than I do. And we want to rename the ball, and I would always drag it high on the stage so that it's starting from higher up. Let's look back at the next part now. So the ball needs to have an X speed and a Y speed so that we can move it left, right, up and down. And we need variables to keep track of these. And that means we can increase them or decrease them to make it go faster or slower. And we also want it to start in the same place each time, even though it's not necessary to do that. So job 1 for us to do this is to make 2 variables called X speed and Y speed and initialize them to -3 and -3. So we'll talk more about why it's -3 and we can see exactly what that does. So we need to go back to scripts, choose data, make variable, and we want to call it X speed. You could tick for this sprite only, but it doesn't really matter. We'll just leave it for all sprites for now. And a second variable called Y speed. Now when we look back, you can see from the options that they're hidden, they've been unticked so that they're not in the way in our game. So we can untick these and you'll notice they disappear from up here, which keeps our screen free of any extra information we don't need. And if we look back again, that we've got some initializations. That means giving it the value of something. So we've got 2 sets and a go-to to make sure it goes to the same position each time. So let's fix that. So we need when start clicked from events. And we don't want any of the control ones right now because it's only going to do this once at the beginning. So we want to get from data, set the Y speed to 0. But we want to have it at -3. And this is one part where people get confused because they can't find X speed. The drop down menu lets you choose from all of your variables, and it doesn't matter what order we set them up in. And then we want it to go to this position at the top of the screen. So there's no need to change the values on here, but if we drag it off the screen and hit the start flag, you can see it jumps back to its start position too. Let's see what's next. So we want the ball to constantly move, which means we need to use a forever loop. And the forever loop is going to start whenever the user clicks the green flag. But later on, one of the challenges could be so that it only starts moving when the user clicks a certain button. Okay, so let's look at how we're going to do that. So we need when start clicked, control forever. And let's just check back to make sure we looked at the next part. So we've got change X and a change Y. And this is one part where people make little mistakes and wonder why it doesn't work. So from motion, we want to find the change X and the change Y. Now be very careful you don't take the sets because those won't move at all. We've got them to continually change, and the next mistake that people make is that they put the wrong speeds in each of these, which you may not notice because it's very easy to do, but it will have some different effects. So now when we run it, it should move down and to the left, and let's see what it does. Now that doesn't look great, so let's see what it says next. Test your program. Does it hit off the sides and the roof and the bat and the floor? And the answer is no. And the reason for that is I've not given it any code to tell it how to react. It does exactly what we tell it to do, nothing more and nothing less. So part 3 and onwards is going to be getting the ball to react off the sides and so on. So if yours is moving down to the left and staying here, even though it's constantly moving, it just can't move further, then it's perfectly correct.